Hello everyone, welcome to my live stream. It is Monday, which means it's time for another Inktober52 drawing. But today is also a federal holiday where I am, so I've been taking it easy all day and just cooking up a storm and having a fun time with my family. But I didn't want to skip my live stream, especially because I said that I would be here last week, so I wasn't going to skip it after saying that. Oh, hello, Satuita! Satuita is here in my house right now. She is one of my sisters, and we're hanging out today. But it's time for a 1 hour drawing break. So, well, I guess I'll explain Inktober for anybody who doesn't know what Inktober is. It's originally a 1 month long challenge throughout October to do an ink drawing every day. It got so big that now they have a yearly thing, and it's called Inktober52 for 52 weeks. And so we're doing one drawing per week. They send out a prompt. You don't have to use it, but I like to use it, plus my theme of griffins. And I have this kit that I got from the Inktober retreat last year. I gotta get this. I've got my reference image up, but I can't see what I'm showing you. So I had to change my screens real quick. Change my windows on my screen, I mean. The first thing is, of course, the most important thing, a sketchbook. Inktober branded moleskin sketchbook. So I got this kit from the Inktober retreat, and this is what I'm using this year for all my drawings. The next thing is this creative starter set, and it has 5 different colors of markers and 5 different colors of fine liners. And then the other things that came in the kit from the retreat are these 2 zebra brush pens. The big end is the same on both, but the little end is there's a little end only on the red one. So these are the things from the Inktober retreat that I have in my kit for this year, but I also have a Palomino Blackwing pencil and a pencil sharpener for it to complete my Inktober set for this year. Inktober52, because I'm just going to do the once a week. It's a lot more manageable. Last year I finally did the 31 whole drawings, you know. I didn't do them one a day. I did like 6 a day, every day during the retreat. But anyway, I still got 31 drawings done. Oh, this one. Satuija says, I've been using that set of pens for journaling. It is really good. These mild liners, I love to use them as highlighters for, I mean, it says creative marker, but I mostly use them as highlighters, except when something like this where it's like, oh, here's an art kit for you, and it includes them. I'm like, okay, they're art markers now, but still in my heart, they're just awesome highlighters. Okay, oh, here's last week's. Like I said, keep the chill vibes going for today. I'm not going to do anything very difficult. The prompt this week is scratch. And the first thing that came to mind when I was like, what can I do that's super easy and not mentally taxing or anything? So I'm just going to do like a peregrine falcon's foot. So that's it's not a really direct interpretation, but the talons can scratch, and whatever. I don't have to use the prompt, so I don't really care if it doesn't match that well. It's just to give ideas anyway, so because it's not like I'm getting graded. I'm not doing this for a class. Here is my drink for this stream. I have another one of those yummy summer freeze Mountain Dews. Tastes like those red, white, and blue popsicles. Well, I can't say whether it tastes like that or not, but it does taste like a yummy flavor. So, that's all. Okay, let's get my reference image back up. I'm just going to draw. So this foot, it's a close-up image of a, I searched peregrine falcon. I think it's peregrine falcon because I can see the spots on the feathers. But it doesn't matter anyway. I wanted a griffin-looking foot, basically. And that's what we've gotten. It's super, super, super close-up, which is what I was wanting. So today I'm just mostly doing like technical practice, not any super creative, like cognitive decision making or putting things together or anything. Just keep it super simple. Practicing drawing a falcon foot, a bird of prey foot. Kind of been wanting to do something like this anyway because it's bird feet are so complicated, like so complex, and they've got like scales and they're like little armored, they're covered in natural armor. They've got little scales, but then on the knuckles it's these big, almost like ribs of scales, but then they've got the little ones on the side and the teeny tiny ones on the bottom, which I bet help with grip. And it's such a close-up that the talons actually look blunted, just a bit blunted. They're not, but that's how zoomed in it is. Here's one. Here is one tip of one foot. Oh, yeah. So that's what it says. Yeah, I used to think it's just 3 fingers like ours, but each finger is a different length. Yep, and depending on the bird, some of them can do both. Like, so they have 4 and 1 on the back, but some birds can have 2 in the front and 2 on the back. And, yeah, and it just depends on the bird, too, so. So interesting. Okay, so the size I've drawn this one, I'm not going to be able to get the middle finger, I guess. But that's okay because it kind of drops into shadow anyway, and I can't really see what the talon is doing, so that's fine. But let's see. So I'm going to use some relative measuring here to figure out where. So it's right about here coming down, and then right about here coming this way, that the equivalent of this knuckle is on this toe. And it just goes straight down from here. Actually looks like a dragon finger, so maybe that's where, like I say, it looks like a dragon finger. It's not like I've ever seen a dragon. I've seen dragons in movies and stuff, so maybe people got their ideas for dragons from birds. It was very interesting when I'm looking at this and thinking that, and it always seems like dragons are based on reptiles, but maybe what they really are more based on birds for all the visual elements I've ever seen dragons being, because the bird feet are all scaly. You don't have to be a reptile to be scaly, I guess, is what I'm learning. Okay, and then this equivalent of this knuckle is all the way up here with this one. Just about the same height, but it angles in this way. Because of the yellow color of this peregrine falcon, actually almost looks like corn kernels, like corn on the cob. It's very surreal to think of it that way. Okay, how many are there? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. Wait, 1, 2. Okay, this one is curved. I'm counting how many of these big scales. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, 1, 2, 3. And this should be 6. Ah, I need to make this bigger. So, yes, okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 there. Okay, and then bottom side does not have these really big scales. It has the teeny tiny scales. Almost doesn't look like anything. Because I'm focusing more on the details to begin with than I usually do. Since this time I'm doing more practical practice than, or more technical practice than I usually do, because usually I'm like kind of putting ideas together to depict a interesting concept, but today I'm just practicing what does a bird foot look like? Okay, for this third finger, it's actually bent so far up that it's this outermost knuckle, I guess, that is being seen right here. And actually this part is about halfway through it, so I need to raise it way up there. And it's cool because with this finger you can see from the side how it goes in between each knuckle. For this finger, you can see the same thing is happening looking from the top as well. So it just gets small and big three-dimensionally, not just on one axis. Okay, and then this talon is ending about, maybe right about here. So mark that. And then this knuckle, so maybe right about here is where the talon starts. There. And another interesting thing with this finger here is that you can see where the skin is sort of, where this leathery, scaly skin is actually going, do we have something that does that I can show you on my body? It doesn't seem like, but it's like going inside. Like, you can see the ridges where it's like overlapping, because if it were to go like this, it would be smooth, but then when it comes like this, it goes inside of itself. I can't explain it. Anyway, it's very interesting to look at. And then you can sort of see the rest of the foot here, but there's a bunch of feathers coming down. And I just wanted to focus on the talons, so I'm not going to draw the feathers. So I'll just leave that there. And I think that's good to start inking. I don't need to draw every little bit with the pencil. Pencil is mostly just to get the idea down there, and then inking is what's really important with this challenge. For me, is practicing my inking. So here is the sketch so far. Let's see if it focus. Yeah. Here's pencil sketch. Very fun lines to draw. Okay. Now let's ink them. Since I am taking it easy, I'm going to do the easiest thing that requires the least amount of re-inking, which is just use the brush pen. I'm just going to use the big end of the brush pen to do the main lines, and then I might use the small end or this fine liner to do the detailed scales and stuff that will be on the inside of these lines. Yes! Yay! That's exactly what I wanted. So let's do this is nice. Good gryphon practice. Yes! That's what I'm doing today. Just gryphon practice. Okay. So I did make all these lines, but I'm still looking closely at my reference image so that I can capture some details or things like that that are not necessarily in these sketchy lines that I've done so far. And it's important for me, maybe just to get my head wrapped around it, or for the final result after I put the ink down, to start with whatever, so with these scales, they really are like scales, like they're one on top of the other. So I ink the one that's on top, and then ink the one that's below it. And which one is on top or below is just a matter of perspective, like which way is the finger facing in relation to the camera taking the picture. And so it's usually just some point right in the middle of the finger and the rest of them look like they're on top or underneath. Because it's also perspective, like going this way will make them look like they're more on top or whatever. Or it's not really that they're on top, but like which one will look best being inked first and then the rest having their lines coming out from that line. I don't know if I'm explaining what I'm thinking well, but that's something I always think about as I'm inking. And there's lots of wrinkles, actually. Even though it's scaly, I guess because of like scale armor or something that a human would make, it's always a bit surprising when I'm drawing a scaly animal and I'm like, oh wow, it's actually quite flexible looking. There's wrinkles in it just like with my skin. But it's a much more tough material than my skin. Human skin is very weak. There's a little bit more, but I'm out of paper, so I can't draw the other side of this one. So just leave it like that. And I can't really tell what's going on here, so I won't even draw that. So let's switch over to the pen that has a small brush tip on it and start drawing. So some more wrinkles, and then also the more obvious circular scales. I don't know, even though with some of these big ones I like counted how many they are and everything, I'm not going to do that with these teeny tiny ones. That's a little too much. I'm not interested in the super photorealistic. And there's like little tiny lines like on this and this right before the talon. It's like a cuticle on a human. There's a teeny tiny line of skin, just like a cuticle on a human fingernail. Right here next to these is the ones that look like corn kernels, kind of, because of the bright yellow skin. And here, the way they're overlapping is almost like fish scales. Probably because the finger is hanging down. So it looks that way more than these other ones where you're just seeing it from the side. And interestingly, I think it's just because of the way the light is hitting it, this little part, you can barely tell that it's not just smooth. But it is right on the side of the knuckle, so maybe that part is just smoother and it's not just the light. So I'm just doing teeny tiny indications. And then conversely, right here is very defined, like as if these are not just circles, but like bumps poking out. And then it becomes flat again. So brush pen is nice because I can make these super thick circles and make these super thin ones all with the same pen and the same line of thought without having to stop to change tools. Okay. Now, I'm going to use the fine liner to do some hatching in areas where it's so shadowy. It's not that it's black, but it's so shadowy that you can't really see any of the texture at all. You can see that it's a color, like the shadow is like a dark orange. So it's not that it's like completely shrouded in darkness or anything, but it's not possible to see the scaly texture in these areas. So instead of scaly texture, just add hatching so that it doesn't just look like an unworked blank spot. Plus I'll add some hatching anywhere there's a shadow, not just because of lack of texture, but anywhere with a really distinct shadow. And when I get towards the gutter in the book, I have to really hold the page down or it bumps up, and then I can't make the nice even hatching lines because the paper keeps bumping up every time I lift the pen off. And then as I get this far in, even though I can see these circles, it's still in that dark orange shadow. So there will be both texture and hatching together. Okay, good. Next foot. Next foot. The hatching makes such a big difference. Going from this like flat, just being outlined, to, ooh, it feels like it's got a more three-dimensional shape just by adding some straight lines in key places. There's a lot more shadow here because this is the finger is coming down this way instead of so this is more like this, and then this part is like this, so more shadow here. And yeah, this smooth patch, there's not even hardly any shadow on it. Come back up here. It's a nice wrinkle right there. And then here and there's little bits of shadow. Until we get here where the body is overshadowing the feet, and then there's really a ton of shadow up here. And the hatching is nice because I can make it sort of fade away into, fade more softly away than just having a black line, a single black line end. Okay, now I'll do the whole thing first. I was thinking, do I want to, because there's the dark orange shadow, but then there's some areas where it's even darker. But I'll do the whole thing first with a single round, I guess, or layer of hatching, and then go back in to do some cross hatching that adds some extra after I've done the whole thing. I'm doing a different direction of hatching on each finger, and then that helps separate them visually. Like, this belongs to this one because all the hatching, or almost all the hatching, is going this way. This part belongs to this middle one because it's all going this way, and this belongs to this one because it's all going this way. I'm looking at... Oh, nice. Yeah, I'm not really seeing it because I got my reference image in front of it. Oh, yeah. Switch back over so I could see it real quick. Soptowitza says, on the screen, the hatching is very effective. Yay! I love hatching, ever since I figured out how to do it. I still remember a time when I was like, I don't know what to do. That was ages ago, but I still remember. Because it's such a powerful tool once you harness it. Okay, I'm going to take a tiny break to take a drink. Delicious. Okay, so now I will return to the fine liner that I just sat down so that I could take a drink. And I will deepen some of these shadows by doing cross hatching. And cross hatching is nice because it doesn't have to be like a 90-degree angle or whatever. Like, they just mostly need to be, you know, it could be within this range. You can even do them parallel, but I think it's more effective when it's at least, you know, like this much in there. Yeah, within a range. Oh, Exie, hello! How are you? Glad to see you. I'm glad you could make it. Oh, thank you. Exie says, oh, it looks amazing. Love it. Yay! Yeah, doing a super simple drawing today. Because today is a holiday, so I wanted to take it easy. Because I've been taking it easy all day. So I want to take it easy on my live stream, too. How's it going? Having a good start to your week? Okay, so I think I'm done with the hatching. Now, I'm going to... Oh, well, maybe I should do... Nah, okay. I'm going to... So I'm, like, thinking about what am I going to do about the claws? Do I want to use a bunch of black? But no, I've got these nice markers, so I just want to look at my... I have the swatches that I did. Yeah, I'm going to use this dark gray marker for the main bulk of coloring these two talons. And then I'll add some black ink on top of that to get some shading. Okay. So these are double-ended as well. There's a bullet tip and a chisel tip. For art, I really would have preferred these also come with a brush tip instead, but that's okay. I'll use what I was given. And I'm going to make these lines going down the length of the talon because since there's definitely going to be some lines where overlap is happening from each stroke of the marker, that'll just help look like natural growth lines or something. Instead of just randomly coloring like this, I'm going to color in the direction that helps add to the overall appearance. So like even if these lines aren't actually part of the reference image, when thinking of this drawing on its own, I think that they will add to it. Be a positive part and not just a thing that I wish wasn't there. Like trying to work with these tools instead of lamenting that they don't do something differently or whatever. Since I know they're the kind of marker that leaves streaks. There. Oh, that sucks. Exie says, nope, it didn't. Everything is worse. Oh, it really sucks. But thank you for asking. You're welcome. How about you? Hope you had a nice weekend. Yeah, I did. I mean, I don't remember what I did now. I played Animal Crossing like almost all day yesterday, so that was one day. And then it's the 3-day weekend for us here in America, so today I've just been, yeah, like I said, taking it easy. I cook a bunch of food so far, because having a barbecue is a a thing that lots of people do on Memorial Day weekend. So I have made, what have I made? I made a pasta salad and baked beans. But they weren't actually baked, they were stovetop, so they were cooked in a pan, but still they were very yummy. I'm very happy with those recipes. And it was fun too because I was able to use, I was able to try recipes from some of my cookbooks. I love cooking, that's one of my hobbies, is cooking. And all of the recipes I'm doing today, because I'm making 2 more things for dinner. And all the recipes are recipes I have not tried before, so that's pretty fun. It's really fun to do a new recipe. Although, if there's a really good recipe that's like just so delicious, that's good too. Just keep making that really yummy recipe over and over. But mostly, I like to try something new every time that I cook. Just because it's more fun. It's fun to keep trying lots of different things. So now I'm adding more ink to the outline, but just to the bottom. To do that thing like I always say to, I mean even now with my hand you can sort of see how there's a shadow along the bottom because the light is coming from above. And so by making the line thicker along the bottom, it can help suggest more shadow or suggest where the light is coming from. Plus it also just makes it feel more grounded, like gravity is having an effect or something. You know, you don't see gravity, but it's sort of like a visual language thing, I guess. Okay. Wow, this is coming out nice. Okay, so this finger for this peregrine falcon is actually in front of this part of this finger, so I'm going to do a thicker line here as well to help it look like it's more in front. Because another visual language thing with ink is that the thicker the line, the closer it looks. And I think that's probably because of perspective, because if you look at, you know, you have like a telephone pole and it looks this wide, but if it's a mile away, it'll look really teeny tiny. I think that's why that works for ink. So I'll do the same thing here as well with this side of this middle talon to help this part. I won't do it all the way along because I don't think we need it all the way along, but maybe like right here just to help this stand out more from this part of this other finger. Because they're not like this. They're apart, but just because of perspective, they're touching when you make it into a 2D image on a page. There, that's enough. Just this little bit right here. Ooh, I can do the same thing on the underside of this talon. Some nice thick ink under the bottom side of the talon. Okay, I'm thinking. I'm looking it over. Feeling pretty happy though. I mean, I still have 15 minutes, but I'm liking where this is. Well, I guess I'll give you guys a look, close-up look real quick, and then maybe that'll help me think of any last details I could add. So here's where we are so far. Oh, I see. Haha, I knew it. Looking at it in the screen, I can add a little bit of hatching onto the talons now, so yeah, I've got a little bit more stuff I can do. Oh, thank you. Exie says it's perfect. Yay. Man. Yeah, seeing it on the screen, because I'm not looking at it here. I'm looking at it on my screen over there. I'm quite happy with this. Just doing a simple drawing for the technical practice is also fun sometimes. Okay, so let's add a little bit of hatching on the claws, on the talons. Oh, thank you. I feel like since I'm just looking at a picture, I don't feel like it's that impressive, but I really appreciate your kind words. Exie says, really impressive that you draw it in 45 minutes. Well, I guess it's because I got my bachelor's degree in illustration, so I did so many technical drawings in school. I've learned some tricks. I'm actually going to turn this upside down so that I can pull my line. So what am I trying to say? So where the line starts, it's easier to make it start big and end thin. So I want the big side to be on the bottom. So that's why I'm turning my book all the way over like this. And this shadow actually goes fairly far up, maybe up until here. Yeah, sometimes it's just so satisfying to do just a technical drawing. And it doesn't have to have a story or anything. Or trying to do anything unusual, just a basic drawing. Okay, so this one's actually in a lot more shadow, I think, because it's thinner this way. Oh, how am I trying to say this? When the talon is like this is thicker than this way. So I think I'm seeing the shadows from this side and from this side, and that's why there's just a little strip of like highlight right here. Yeah, it goes all the way to the bottom. But on this side, there's actually some reflective light. So I'm going to leave a little bit of space to sort of indicate this. I'll hold this up so you can see. Oh, where is it? There. So I just tried to leave just a little bit with no hatching to hopefully show that reflective light. I'm gonna go another round of hatching in the same direction, because the shadow on this one really is quite dark. And then this one does have a little bit under here. But it's much more lit up than this one. I'm just going to add a little bit more just right around here. Okay, how's that? Good, I'm glad to hear it. So that's just a satisfying line work. Yeah. I know I've said it before, but it's so much if you were to, say I was to scan this in and then digitally color it, it would be, it's so much better when you have like this level of inking and then you put the color than if you just do basic inking and then you're like, oh, the color is going to add the detail. But I mean, of course, this is just my opinion, but I really think that putting lots of effort into the inking and then doing whatever coloring that you would do anyway, whether you had the high level inking or not, the final result is just so much more impact. Let's see though. I think I'm satisfied though. Might call it a little bit early. I mean, maybe, but I don't really want to. Oh, I see a little bit where the finger is so much bigger than the claw coming out. Let's see, a little bit of opportunity to add a tiny bit more hatching right here. Show that overlap. Yeah, I think I'm gonna call it good here for today. So let me write my usual stuff. Let's write Inktober52. So we're gonna end a little bit early, but scratch and the date. Yeah. Oh, I didn't write it in all caps like I had been. Well, whatever. I had been writing these all in all caps. Yeah. Oh well, that's okay. Who cares? 29 of May. 2023. Yay! Okay. Gonna hold this up for one final close-up look and you'll be able to see the work I did on the talons here. Just show the teeny tiny little detailed lines that when you hold it far away it just becomes a shadow, but there's a whole bunch of individual lines. And then you can see here where I made this line thicker, but just on these three little bumps. Not right here because I didn't want it to get confused with this area. So that's why I left this and didn't make that thicker even though it is in front. And this might be my favorite part on the whole thing, where the finger is, this is one part of the finger and this is another part behind it, and it's overlapping. It's like this right here on my finger, where it's like, makes this little boop right there when you fold it. That's what's going on right here. And I think that's such a cool thing how it makes this little loop. And then here's the other talon. Yay! Well, that was fun. I got some good gryphon hand drawing practice, which is what I wanted, so today was successful, I would call it. Does that focus back on there? Yeah. Okay, well, we're like 6 minutes early, but let's call it good for today. I will be back on Wednesday with Lucky Dip, and hopefully I'll see you then. But if not, I hope you have a great rest of your day, and thank you for watching.